The NBA community is a very hectic place. It is an open forum for anyone with an opinion when it comes to the NBA, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. A place where people can talk and discuss about their favorite sport and league. And I'm grateful for it because it's allowed me to have a platform to share my opinions to a large audience, and I will be forever grateful for the people I've met, the connections I've made, and the opportunities I've gotten because of it. However, this community is not all sunshine and rainbows. While being appreciative of it, there are certain aspects of this community that just get on my nerves. Now, just a disclaimer for the things I'm about to say, I'm not gonna act like I haven't contributed to the toxicity to a certain degree. However, it can just get really annoying seeing certain things over and over again just for retweets or likes or views in this community. But before we go on with the rest of the video, I just want to take some time to thank the sponsors of this video, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an app that gets tickets from all over the web and puts them on one app or website if you're on the computer, so you can find the best deals for whatever event you want to go to. And I'm not kidding you, I used that app to go to the Celtics vs Thunder game on Super Bowl Sunday, and I must say the experience was just as seamless as advertised, and we really did find the best tickets on SeatGeek after weighing all of our options. It shows you a map of the event and color codes it so the best deals are marked with a green dot, and you can even see what your seat looks like before you go. And thanks to the people over at SeatGeek, you can use the code BSOULS for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video, and check the description for links to download the app on your phone. With how free agency is set up in the NBA and how frequent blockbuster trades are now, it allows our imaginations as fans to go wild. And I must say, it is very fun to think about certain scenarios and certain moves that can change the NBA as we know it. For example, Anthony Davis. Wherever he goes will one way or another change the NBA landscape, guaranteed, because of the amazing talent that he is. However, I really dislike how people will just berate players about their free agency situation and possible trade rumors in the middle of the season when they're focused on the current season. I just find it very disrespectful to them as players, especially for those who are trying to lead a team to a championship, to purposely ask questions that will make the whole team question each other's motives. Which is why when I saw Kevin Durant last week go after media members, I completely agreed with him. While yes, answering questions like that does come with the territory nowadays, the problem is the fact that it's normalized. And I just find it annoying when fans talk about trades and scenarios about the year after, instead of just annoying what they have in front of them. Because there's definitely a lot of great basketball out there for you guys to watch, which is why we love this league in the first place, right? But I swear some of y'all just would rather spend hours on the trade machine cooking up trades than actually watching the games. I would say this is probably the #1 thing I hate about this community, is the amount of people that simply talk about things without giving proper context. People will compare stats without considering the difference in era, the difference in position, the difference in roles, the difference in systems, which is a big part as to why certain players' stats are the way they are. People will handpick certain highlights to either mock a player or overglorify how good a player was. Quotes from players and GMs will be taken out of context for the sake of stirring up controversy without even considering the tone of how they said it or exactly what they're talking about. And I just hate that about this community because it allows for certain narratives to fly around that are extremely flawed yet sound good because of how they're presented. And with the way things are, most people are simply too lazy to double check certain claims and look into them and instantly believe them just because they come from a very popular or official source like ESPN or FS1. But even on the lower level, fans will do the same thing for pages on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter with 7,000, 8,000 plus followers who have clout to do numbers. And yes, that does include myself. Which is why I do appreciate the critics who try to defy these people in their comment section, but at the same time it does breed people who are simply contrarians of someone's opinions. But it also doesn't help when big curating pages promote these flawed hot takes just because they do numbers, despite them claiming that they don't believe it in the caption, or they're simply asking the question. Because even though you're just putting out the question out there, there will be those who take it seriously and believe these flawed takes just because they sound good. But anyways, I just want everyone to question everything and not take all the stats and quotes you see at face value. And if you really do care, take the extra step and think about the factors that go into whatever stat or the context of whatever quote you see. Aside from taking numbers out of context, we also have this problem of simply caring about them too much. While I know we all have busy lives and can't watch all the games, there are those who simply look at stats and make conclusions about how well that player played based on his numbers for that night, which can be very misleading at times. A perfect example of this is Russell Westbrook. There are games where he will put up a triple-double, but if you watch the games, his shot selection and turnovers ended up being a big part as to why they lost. But there are also games where he's shooting in the low 40s from the field and have a lot of turnovers, but he made a lot of timely baskets, made a lot of key passes, and key defensive plays that led them to a crucial win. There's also this problem of people making certain specific parameters just to overglorify a player's performance. Like for example, the first player to put up 25 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists on 45% shooting on 4 Wednesdays in a row. I know you guys know exactly what kind of stats and graphics I'm talking about, and you guys have probably seen 3 or 4 of these stats just this week alone probably. And this is a big problem. And arguably the biggest problem in this community is our problem of setting expectations. We're always looking for the next great, which I get why. More great talent in the league is always great. However, just from the last 2 years alone, just think about it. Lonzo Ball, the next Jason Kidd. Jason Tatum, the next Kobe. DeAndre Ayton, the next Shaq. Trae Young, the next Stephen Curry. Ben Simmons, the next Magic Johnson. Just think about exactly how hard it is to meet those types of expectations. And while I get that these players have shown promise and the potential to one day maybe be compared to those players, we're talking about players whose careers to me will never be perfectly recreated. And we're setting those expectations on these players who are just entering or are in their early 20s. And more often than not, we just end up being disappointed. And then that turns into hate to these players who did not even want or ask for these expectations in the first place. But even if we extend it to players like LeBron, actually especially LeBron, let's keep it real, the general expectations for LeBron is literally perfection. Every wrong move, every wrong play he makes will make headlines, and we'll take up a segment on Undisputed the day after. And what this does is create a lack of appreciation for one of the greatest athletes and one of the greatest basketball players we've ever seen. And I know I do have this sort of reputation of being a critic of LeBron, but most of these takes that I've made were just in retaliation to flawed takes by other people in the media. Never have I ever just taken LeBron for granted, because I fully understand that there will never be another LeBron. But it's not just LeBron. Kobe was also a victim of this as well. The fact that Kobe was the closest thing to Michael in terms of play style, but was never better than Michael, has been somehow used to undermine his career. Like, just think about that. Do you know how impressive it is to be the closest thing to Michael Jordan? That's extremely impressive. But anyways, these are just some of the things I can't stand about this community. Like I said in the beginning, I'm not claiming that I'm this sort of angel and that I haven't committed some of these quote-unquote crimes, for lack of a better word. I'm also not saying this community sucks, because like I said, I am very appreciative of it because of the opportunities it's presented, not just to me, but many people who just love to talk about this game. This is a community that has brought me a lot of joy, whether it be through the people I've met or the countless of hilarious memes and videos I've seen on the internet. But I just wanted to shed some light on some of the aspects of the community that I just can't stand in this video. Let me know in the comment section what your biggest pet peeve is when it comes to this community. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I'm out. Peace.